Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the pink symbol ABN-AF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Sharon Noble, Director of the BC Coalition to Stop Smart Meters. Welcome back to the show, Sharon.
Thank you so much, Jim.
Well, we've been chatting about smart meters now for quite some time. For a lot of people, it's a very personal issue about safety and the health of their families. Has anybody on the campaign trail brought this up?
No, not only haven't they brought it up, they won't answer any questions. A lot of the members of the coalition have sent me copies of letters that they've written to their candidates in their area. And the candidates have been asked point blank what their stance is, not only on smart meters, but on our civil rights not to have the smart meters on our home, our civil rights not to have microcells outside our home, and not one candidate that I've been told has responded. They will not even respond to it.
Why is it that BC Hydro is considered to be a sacred cow that cannot be discussed?
Man, I wish I knew. But the thing is, it's a moneymaker for the province. Look at what Christy Clark has done. She has brought in so much money to offset other shortfalls in the budget by, running hydro into a deficit. And the government has also loaded BC Hydro with their buddies. BC Hydro is supposed to be an independent body. It's supposed to be run by independent people. Yet the CEO of Hydro, according to the Tyee, is campaigning with Christy Clark. He was appointed by Christy Clark, and he's a buddy of Christy Clark. So, of course, we have every expectation that Mr. Bennett, the CEO or director of the commission, BC Hydro Commission, is going to do everything that Christy Clark wants him to do. And it's certainly not ending up where it's running in our favor. BC Hydro is supposedly, according to Tyee again, looking for dramatic increases over the next 4 years, as much as 7 or 8% a year. And this is going to be driving more and more people off the grid who can't afford it. There are people right now who can't afford their electricity bill, who are having to choose during the high winter months between feeding their family and heating their home. It's a tough choice. And as more and more equipment and more options become available at costs that people can afford, people are going to be leaving hydro. And hydro is going to be going into the death spiral that many other utilities have seen. As we were discussing earlier, the solar panels, wind machines, all these things are becoming more and more viable options. Many places like Germany, well over 50% of their electricity is generated by solar. And their environment, their climate, is very similar to ours. If they can do it, we can do it. And recently, just in the last couple of weeks, Tesla has announced that they have come up with a brand new technology. It's solar shingles for homes. And in their announcement, they said that these shingles will be cheaper than shingles for homes. If you repair and put on a new roof, these shingles will be cheaper, they will have a longer life expectancy, and they will produce probably as much electricity, even in the winter, enough electricity for the average home. The costs, I don't know yet. I've been searching for them to get something specific. I don't know if they've provided it yet, but they've now got inverters, and they're working on batteries that can store the surplus energy so that during the night there will be power there for the home. And all of these now are getting to the point where they're going to be within the realm that, a normal family will be able to afford them. This is very exciting. It will give us a real option to get away from BC Hydro.
We'll have more with Sharon Noble right after the break.
I'm Bill McWilliam, president of Cascadero Copper, CCD on the TSX Venture Exchange. Cesium is one of the world's rarest metals with a growing industrial demand. Drilling is underway on our Tehran property in Argentina to prove up a cesium resource. Cascadero's patent-pending leach process has the potential to make Cascadero the lowest cost supplier of cesium in the world. Visit our website, cascadero.com, or phone us at 604-924-5504.
Lotus Ventures Inc. is a BC-based medical marijuana company poised to launch into the rapidly evolving cannabis sector. Lotus is in the final review stage of the Health Canada approvals to become a licensed producer, having arranged facility financing of up to $12 million, plus building permits for its prototype indoor production facility. Shares trade under the symbol J on the Canadian Securities Exchange. Visit our website at lotusventures.ca.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sharon Noble. Sharon, smart meters apparently are very hackable, and that's also going to up your electricity costs.
Yes, we've been talking about this a lot too. Experts on cybersecurity and on just plain security have been warning that the smart meters are extremely vulnerable to hacking. And a recent report from Australia said that once the Zigbee chips are activated, and our smart meters have Zigbee chips that are not yet activated but will be shortly, to interact and get data from all of our, quote, smart appliances. Once this happens, everything will be connected through the internet, and the smart meter is a very, very easy thing to hack. In fact, there have been instances in other places where homes have been hacked through the smart meter, and the hackers have been able to even get to the computer, get passwords, get access to bank accounts, and things like that. Everyone is warning that this is inevitable, and the costs to make our smart meters secure, to make the smart grid secure from cyber attacks, will be very, very expensive. And this has not been included in any financial reports that I've seen, or any budgeting figures that BC Hydro has provided. Not only haven't they included the cybersecurity costs, neither have they included any costs for the shortened lifespan. The budgets that BC Hydro has provided still include the expectation that smart meters will last for 20 years. And they won't. They aren't. The industry itself has admitted that the average smart meter will have to be replaced between 5 and 7 years. And in addition to that, there are constant upgrades. BC Hydro sent a letter to the BCUC, which I got a copy of last week, saying that they were in the process of upgrading and changing software programs and firmware programs, which they thought probably were contributing to the fact that some transmitters that were supposed to have been turned off in smart meters, in fact, weren't. Now, every time they do major upgrades like this, of course, it costs. And it's inevitable with computers that this is going to happen. And we have to remember the smart meters are nothing more than cheap computers put on the side of our home with transmitters inside of them. No place has ever seen a reduction in costs or in energy. And PG&E, which is the largest electricity producer in California, recently did a financial report on its smart meter program since inception, and it says that there has been absolutely no reduction in energy and absolutely no cost savings as a result of their smart meter program. And that makes so much sense. When you think about it, the machines, the computer, the smart meter can't make you reduce your electricity usage. The only thing that can is changing of habits. And in British Columbia, we've seen reduction in electricity usage over the years. It's been a consistent reduction. There's been no increase, even though the population has increased, because people are becoming more conscious about the environment and the costs involved with having to produce more and more electricity. It's not the smart meter that's going to reduce and make climate improvements. It's going to be people doing things that they know are good for the environment. So why are we having to waste this money? And in addition to having fire hazards put on our home, putting our lives and property at risk. It just makes no sense. It's a very bad business decision.
We'll have more with Sharon Noble right after this.
I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp., RMO on the TSX Venture Exchange. Rainy Mountain's Brunswick property is located in the Rideout Shear Zone in Ontario. With grab samples running as high as 32 grams per ton gold, a drill program will commence this spring to test the numerous targets located by recent groundwork. For more information, visit our website, rmroyalty.com.
In Goddard we trust.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sharon Noble. Sharon, you said you're going to be releasing a report where two electrical engineers are going to tell us that smart meters are totally vulnerable to power surges because they don't have any fusing to protect it from the surge, and they can catch fire from it or explode.
That's correct. I have information from many electrical engineers, and one in particular from the U.S. He has been working with Itron meters now for several years, and he, at my request, sent me information for me to include in a report that I'm writing to the BC Utilities Commission. And he said that the smart meters have inadequate or no fuses, so that when there is a power surge, there's nothing to stop it from making the smart meter catch fire or explode. Analogs wouldn't do that. Analogs didn't do that. You may have power surge protection in your home so that once electricity comes in, it won't damage your appliances or cause a fire in your house. But this is on the outside of your home, and there's nothing between the power line and the smart meter that's going to provide the protection that is needed. So when there's a power surge, either from something like a lightning strike or a transformer being hit by a car, a pole brought down, or trees falling on the power line, there's going to be a surge, and there are going to be smart meters that catch fire and explode. And this has happened already. It happened in Summerland a couple of winters ago, and it's happened in Palo Alto, California. It's happened in Ontario. It's happened in Florida. It's happened in many different places where many, many smart meters have exploded and burned. These are very, very dangerous things, and the design flaws are amazing. I should tell you, Jim, this is something that's extremely frustrating to me. We all know that when a product is purchased, when a service is purchased, people should be doing due diligence to make sure that that product is safe and it will do what it says it will do. BC Hydro, through our laws, has all sorts of loopholes where their equipment doesn't have to be provided to be certified to be safe. Their equipment, and because they own the smart meters, those smart meters don't have to be certified by CSA to be safe. And they haven't been. So I've written to BC Hydro 6 months, 8 months ago, saying, what did you do during your purchasing consideration as part of your due diligence to make sure that these things were safe? I asked and I asked, and they kept putting me off and putting me off. About 3 weeks ago, I got a letter from BC Hydro, and it said, here are our reports, our safety reports, and I had asked for testing results of the remote disconnect switch, which is one of the most dangerous parts of the meter. It's been shown to be involved in many fires. They gave me what they said was the safety report, testing report. It was 18 pages long and lots of little funny details. And then they also said if I wanted to get the report on the remote disconnect switch, I had to order it myself from NETRAC, which is a testing facility in the U.S. Hydro said that they couldn't provide me the report because it would be a breach of confidentiality, that this report that they had would provide information that could affect the confidentiality agreement with Itron and it could affect their, give information to competitors that could harm them. Okay, so I look at the many pages they sent me. It wasn't testing result. They were stupid little incidents. They even included an incident where a Corks installer was confronted by a dog in the yard. They included incidents like the house that burned down in Mission due to a smart meter. It was incidents that it was not testing. They totally misrepresented. They also told me that the names and the qualifications of the testers were provided on that report. There's nothing like that. Further, I went to NeedTrack. I left messages on their phone machine asking if I could purchase the report. They never got back to me. I finally wrote them, and I got a response 3 days ago saying that this report on the testing of the remote disconnect switch was available only to the members of NeedTrack. I checked to see who the members of NeedTrack are. It's all of the industry people, industry and meter manufacturers. So that means only the competitive companies and only utility companies can get this report. I can't. So when BC Hydro told me that they couldn't give it to me because it would possibly breach Itron's confidentiality, that would put them in a bad state with their competitors, what a bunch of hooey. I have written now complaining about this. Not only have they given me phony information in their test report, but they've totally misled me, and they have again given me phony information about this NeedTrack report. We, as the public, we who have these smart meters, these dangerous smart meters being forced on us, have a right to know what testing was done. And BC Hydro, from all I can see, after all the questions I've asked over the last 5 years, they've never once been able to tell me that they did anything to ensure that these things were safe. BC Hydro, and I charge BC Utilities Commission, are not doing their job. The BC Utilities Commission is not insisting that due diligence was followed. In fact, they want to believe the silly reports that they're given that there have been no smart meters that have burned up. We should be very angry. The people of British Columbia should be very angry that BC Hydro is being allowed to do this to us, and nobody's holding them to account.
Have you asked questions of the BC Ombudsperson?
Yeah. And they say there's nothing they can do, that I should be going back to the BC Utilities Commission. And that's why I'm writing this report. It's about 600 pages long. I'm nearly finished. But it shows that my evidence shows that the system is so broken that nobody knows what's going on. BC Hydro hired Len Garris to write a report saying that the smart meters are safe, to show that there were no smart meter fires. He used he used incomplete information on the Fire Commissioner's report, on their annual report. And the BC Utilities Commission only looks at Len Garris's report. They ignore anything else, including information from electrical engineers, including copies of fire reports that I've provided, anything. They've absolutely ignored everything. And I pose that the evidence that I'm going to be providing in this 600-page report lays the groundwork for some legal action. And I believe that people should look at this and consider how we can move forward to ever trust the BC Utilities Commission or BC Hydro again. We can't. Everything they have said about this program is bogus. Everything.
Sharon, thank you so much for your update.
Thank you for letting me give it to you, Jim, and to share it with everyone.
And the websites people should be checking out?
www.stopsmartmetersbc.com.
Thank you again.
My pleasure. Take care.
My guest has been Sharon Noble, Director of the BC Coalition to Stop Smart Meters. You're listening to the Goddard Report on TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Find us on Twitter at TalkDigitalNet. Our popular YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Questions for the show or for our guests can be emailed to info@howstreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of Howe Street Media Incorporated.